she wanted me to make some kinds of decisions for her. And since Lauren was the trustee over all of it, and since Kyle Flick was the family attorney, and Kyle Flick was the one who made sure he was also very involved with who in the family was responsible for what. And I don't believe Kyle Flick liked me. I don't believe that Kyle Flick wanted me to have any part of being a trustee of my grandparents' will, because possibly he knew that he and some of the other Jewish people can control me, and maybe they were able to control my Uncle Lauren or some of the other family members. So, I mean, come to find out after all this time, there have been Jewish people that have been acted like, I've sometimes in a derogatory sense, referred to them as the Jew crew, but that's like slang to me for the Jewish mafia, because after I worked for Lorraine and Rabbi Rose, I later realized that they were connected to the Middletons in the UK, and they did some really horrible things to my family and knew people who did really terrible things in order to keep us down. And I had no idea that my parents would have been a threat or could have been connected to somebody in any way, or that somebody might have paid any attention to me. But I've put some information on my blog about that, and I will get into that later as well. And I later found out that that's the case. So possibly because Kyle Flick was Jewish and maybe connected to these other individuals who are part of trying to control my family, I was one person that was not easily controlled. And I was also one of the individuals that they were targeting with military migraines. When I was implanted with microchips in Utah, it was the Utah Medical Center, and then right next door to them, not even a block away, was the Jewish Community Center, a huge Jewish community center. And I believe that, given some of the evidence things that I've pieced together, I believe some of the people at Jewish Center knew exactly what was going on at that hospital, and they knew what was happening to me. So I do think that I'm not saying all of them, and I'm not saying every group of Jews, but I definitely know that there has been a group that has been hateful towards me. So later, when I was asking Kyle Flick, out of curiosity, if there's a synagogue or if I could go visit his church, and he's acting extremely uncomfortable and saying no, I had no idea that I actually had enemies. I mean, I didn't realize, I thought that this one Jewish man raped me. I didn't understand that I really had a group of people that were my enemies. They considered me to be an enemy or to be a threat in some way. I didn't have anything against them, clearly, because I was sort of willing to go to anyone's church and visit a few times. But they had a problem with me. So, and, it's not a conflict. If it's a conflict of interest, then to have me visit your church, then clearly there is some sort of ongoing brewing problem that some group has with you. I mean, maybe they don't feel comfortable premeditating how to rape me and then having me go to their church where they can all see me there and feel guilty about what they've done. So at any rate, Kyle Flick was the attorney for my Uncle Lauren and for my grandparents. And so all of a sudden then my Uncle Lauren was, I think that he said a couple things. He was maybe worried about why the police were there. And actually, I don't even believe he said anything, because he wasn't there at the time that I even was trying to get my boxes and I called for an assist. Basically, my grandmother pushed me in the stomach, and I was pregnant. She didn't, I just told her I was pregnant, and she pushed me. So, in the stomach, and I said, Granny, you can't do that anymore. And I said, you can't do that anymore because she was used to doing it all the time, and I just run away, and not run away, but I would leave the house. It was just like having to deal with some things like that now and then. I didn't make a big deal of it ever. I just would leave the area or whatever location. When, after I was pregnant and she pushed me in the stomach, and I had to get some of my things that were in the house, I said, she pushed me with her arms, like this, and I put my arms out, and I put her arms down to her side so she wasn't still pushing on my stomach, and then I backed off. But I didn't assault her at all, ever. I did not assault her, and any contact I made whatsoever was simply to protect myself and my unborn child from any kind of potential harm. And I wouldn't have, it wasn't like, that's self-defense. And it really was not even like some big self-defense move. It was this very small gesture of just obviously protecting my unborn child. And so it wasn't a big deal. It never crossed my mind once that then police were going to go up there and try to dig and fish for something. I didn't know I had microchips already implanted in my body. I didn't know they were already going to try to find something to use against me, because I was going to talk to this reporter about the FBI the next day.